Meet Daniel, 28 years old, stable job at a mid-sized company, gets paid every 2 weeks like clockwork. He doesn't party every weekend. He doesn't own the latest iPhone. He even has a savings account, which is more than most people his age can say. But last Monday morning, Daniel opened his banking app before work. And for the first time in a long time, he really looked at it. The number hadn't changed. Not really, not in almost 3 years. He sat there in silence and thought, I'm doing everything right, so why does it feel like I'm going nowhere? If you've ever had that same thought, this video is for you. Daniel's salary wasn't bad. After his second promotion, he remembers thinking, okay, I can breathe now. And that was the problem. The moment things felt stable, something shifted in him. He stopped pushing, stopped asking for more, stopped even thinking about what more could look like. In behavioral economics, this is called satisficing. When people stop searching for the best option the moment they find one that's good enough. Daniel's brain had decided his salary was good enough, so without even realizing it, he stopped growing. He hadn't had a real salary negotiation in 2 years. He'd turned down a recruitment call from another company because the timing wasn't right. He told himself he was being loyal, being stable, but stability and stagnation can look identical from the inside. When was the last time you actively chased a higher income, not just waited for someone to offer it? Here's something Daniel was proud of. He saved 15% of every paycheck, automatically, without fail. What he didn't think about was where that money was sitting. A savings account, earning 0.5% interest per year, while inflation quietly ran at 4%. Every year, his safe money was losing value. Slowly, invisibly. Like a leak so small you don't notice it until the ceiling collapses. Daniel knew about investing. He'd watched videos about it. He'd even downloaded a brokerage app once, then deleted it a week later without doing anything. Why? Because investing felt uncertain, and uncertainty felt dangerous. This is loss aversion, one of the most well-documented biases in human psychology. We feel the pain of losing money about twice as strongly as the pleasure of gaining the same amount. So Daniel kept his money safe, and his money kept quietly shrinking. Saving is not the same as building wealth, and the gap between those two things is exactly where most people get stuck. There was a plan. There's always a plan. Daniel was going to start investing next month, after the holidays. Once work calmed down, when he felt ready. He'd been saying some version of this for 18 months. This is what psychologists call present bias. Our tendency to overvalue right now and undervalue the future. It's why we know something matters long-term, but never make it feel urgent today. The comfort zone doesn't need to convince you that growth is bad. It just needs to keep you 1 month away from starting. Daniel's breakthrough didn't come from motivation. It came from making the action so small it felt embarrassing not to do it. He didn't build an investment portfolio. He transferred $20, just to prove to himself that he could. That $20 didn't change his net worth, but it broke the spell. What's the smallest possible version of the thing you've been postponing? Daniel's closest friends were good people, smart people, people he'd known for years. They also all earned around the same income, spent money on the same things, complained about the same problems. Nobody in his circle talked about investing. Nobody negotiated their salary. Nobody seemed to think that a different financial life was actually available to them. And so, neither did Daniel. Not because he was told he couldn't, but because the people around him had drawn an invisible ceiling, and he'd been living under it so long he mistook it for the sky. Your environment doesn't just affect your habits. It affects what you believe is normal, what you believe is possible, what you believe you deserve. Daniel didn't need to cut off his friends, but he did need to start feeding his mind from somewhere beyond his immediate circle. Books, conversations, channels like this one, anything that expanded what he thought was achievable. Your ceiling is often just someone else's normal. Daniel didn't overhaul his life overnight. He negotiated a 12% salary increase at his next review, the first time he'd ever asked. He moved half his savings into a low-cost index fund. He started spending 20 minutes a week learning about personal finance instead of doom scrolling. Small shifts, real results. The financial comfort zone isn't a prison with locked doors. It's a room with an open door that you've just stopped looking at. Daniel found his door. The question is, are you ready to find yours? Open your banking app right now, look at the number, and ask yourself honestly, am I actually moving forward or just standing still in a comfortable place? If this story felt familiar, subscribe. Every week on Wealth Logic Studio, we follow stories like Daniel's, because understanding why we make the financial decisions we do is the first step to making better ones. See you next time.